So hello again, and we have our new presenter, Sorin Manole. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
So Sorin Manole is a product strategy manager at NordPass, the global cybersecurity brand that belongs to the Lithuanian unicorn company Nord Security. Having over 10 years of experience in product development on computer science, Sorin is now shaping NordPass's long-term strategic technological vision through research and experimentation. Always on the lookout for the next big thing in the tech industry, Passkey technology is his current focus. Today's presentation topic is the passwordless future. What is Passkey technology and how is the world adapting to it? A passwordless future is already here, with tech giants such as Microsoft, Google, and Apple already introducing their new online authentication solutions to consumers. Other online businesses are also joining the trend. Passkeys are widely considered the most promising technology to replace passwords, so an expert from NordPass will guide you through Passkey state-of-the-art technology and explain how it affects users, businesses, and even hackers. So, Sorin, share your screen and please present your topic. Don't forget to turn on your microphone.
Thank you. Right. Can you see my screen? Not yet. 1 second.
Yet.
All right. Is it good now, Ilona?
Yes, we can see your slides, so please.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your Cyberthon. So thank you for the introduction, Ilona. My name is Sorin. I work in NordPass as a product strategy manager. NordPass is part of the Nord Security Group, which also part is together with NordVPN. So it's based in Lithuania, so I'm quite sure you're familiar with. What I want to talk to you briefly today in this session is to kind of take you on a passwordless journey about a passwordless future. So Ilona kind of gave a bit introduction, but let's see a bit what actually does that mean. Password, one word, one simple word. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like counting from 1 to 6. What these two strings have in common, you might ask yourself. Well, they are actually the top 2 most used passwords globally in the world. So that's in 2022. It's quite shocking to see that in 2022, with everything that is happening around, all these threats and data breaches, these 2 passwords are still the most used, and password is actually around 5 million users have this password. So you can see such a password can be cracked under 1 second. So it's just basically has absolutely no protection at all. It's like you would not even have a password for your accounts. And that's just the top 10. We did the research in top 200, and most of them, they can be cracked in under 10 seconds. 84% of data breaches globally happen because of compromised passwords. So it's no surprise looking at our top 200 passwords that actually 84% of data breaches happen because of cracked and compromised passwords. So there's an issue here. It's like the numbers say it. We have an issue with passwords, right? I mean, passwords are a pain because we forget them easily. We always forget them. We tend to have weak passwords, as we saw from the study. Just because we don't want to forget them, then we go on weak passwords. Or we can use strong passwords, but then we reuse them in all our accounts. So that's also not a solution, because the passwords not just can be cracked, but they can also be phished. So they can be actually intercepted, or they can appear into a data breach. And even though if you have a strong password, if you reuse them on all your accounts, then all your accounts are compromised to that password. So yeah, overall, it's not us, not the humans, not the users to blame, because it is really time consuming to navigate all these passwords account, change them regularly, make sure they're strong enough not to reuse them. So yeah, it's clear there is an issue there, and it's kind of our job to look into how to fix that. So how can we fix it actually? MFA, right? Yeah, MFA, it's a good solution. It blocks 99.9% of all modern automated cyber attacks. In theory, that's good enough, right? Well, not really. So if we look again at the numbers, there is quite a low adoption rate, and not only amongst users, but also companies. So websites, also companies for their employees, they have quite a low adoption rate even in 2023. And if they offer this MFA, then the users even have even lower adoption rate because it's actually a bad user experience. It's not so straightforward to have MFA to activate and then to use it. You need a bit of maybe tech knowledge, and it's actually not very accessible for all type of users. So yeah, it's in a way that also doesn't work. So I think it's time to kill the password, right? Because MFA, what it does is just patches something, a problem with the password. So it's kind of adding on top, trying to fill some holes that were created by the password. So that's clearly it's not working. So yeah, hello passwordless, right? What does that actually mean? Maybe you heard about passwordless as a concept. It's not actually new. It exists on the market for quite some years now with different forms. You can see it on different website apps. You can log into some website with an email magic link or an SMS code, like a temporary one-time password or a push notification. Yeah, that solves some cases, some issues, although we still see 84% of data breaches happening. So there is still a problem there. And why? Because all these solutions that were proposed, it's again patching something that the password cannot achieve, and they have no standard. There's no unified experience. You need too many apps. You need authenticators for TOTPs or for push notifications, even email magic links. It's kind of, it's marketed as passwordless, but at the end, you still need to log into your email to access that link. So, and it's not, none of them is actually really secure. Even push notifications, the latest attacks that we see is actually, it's called push notification fatigue, where the user is being bombarded with notifications about accept until they just give in. So it's just like a psychological behavior that it's being exploited. Again, it's not working. It just ends up with user fatigue and users being just frustrated. So yeah, nice try. We still cannot kill the password. So how can we still fix it though? There must be something else. Passkeys. So welcome Passkeys. Passkeys, it's kind of, well, a new technology. We will have a deeper look in the next slides. But what they bring and why they actually promise to be successful, because first of all, they are truly passwordless. They are extremely secure. They are standardized. There is a standard to implement passkeys. There is the same experience on all the websites app that use passkeys across devices and operating system. You don't need extra apps. The only thing you need is the devices you already have, and users love it. From the users' interviews and research, it's absolutely seamless. So in theory, it's like we found our solution. So let's have a deeper look in what actually are passkeys. So it's actually not a new technology. It's based on public key cryptography, where you might be familiar with, where you have a set of keys, a private key and a public key. And that's what we call passkeys. This private and public key together, they form a passkey. The private key is generated and stored on your device, and the public key is stored on the website that you're registering, for example, to. So that's basically the base of passkeys. So that's nothing new. What brings new passkeys, it's also the biometrics. So they are on top of it, they are protected by biometrics. So the private key is stored on a secure storage on your device, like in Apple keychain. And to access that private key, you need to confirm biometrics. So these two, actually, they work as a two-factor authentication, even though the user experiences only one factor, which is the biometric. So that's quite clever. You actually have a 2FA into one single step. How it works actually technically, when you try to log in on a website, your device sends a login request to the website. The website responds with a challenge, and that challenge, your device, in that moment, your device asks for your Face ID or Touch ID, depending on the device you use, unlocks the private key, and responds to the website, to the server, by signing the challenge with the private key stored on your device. The website verifies that the response is valid by having the public key, and then the login happens. So as you see, in no moment, the private key has left your device. So it was only about signing challenges between your device and the website. Another way I like to think of passkeys is like a keyless entry to a car. When you just approach the car and the car detects you have the fob key on you and automatically unlocks. You don't need to actually take the key, press a button, and unlock the car. It's something very similar, and you just need to confirm with your biometrics. So yeah, it's just one step registration, one step login, and it's actually quite amazing. I don't know if you already saw this in practice, but there's yeah, quite some websites that support it. So if we look like a quick recap and comparison between passkeys and passwords, why passkeys have not only the advantage, but they cannot even really be compared with passwords because they cannot be stolen. If a website is being hacked, it poses less risk because the hacker can get access to your public keys, but they can do absolutely nothing with that. They cannot even impersonate the website because there is an extra layer of security in the protocol where those keys are assigned to an identity of the website. So that website cannot actually impersonate the hacker cannot impersonate the website where they're stealing the public keys from. They are unique for each website. So again, we don't have the issue of reusing them. You don't need to memorize anything, and they are phishing proof because they never leave your device. So will passkeys kill the password for good? That's what everyone right now is asking themselves. Let's have a look a bit the history. So passwords are around since kind of the beginning of the internet, right? It was the default way how we authenticate online, by remembering something, or no, by writing something that we know, just us know, which is quite a basic form of authentication. Then in the 2000s, the password managers came kind of on board. They said, okay, there are issues with passwords, users. That was the start of the cybercrime. So the password managers did alleviate a bit the problem. Now you don't need to remember them. The password managers create unique passwords for each website. They generate strong passwords. Still, that doesn't protect you against breached websites, right? When actually your passwords are being leaked from the website. That's why we came with 2FA and MFA, to protect you against that. But as we saw, it's not really being adopted because it's not so straightforward. So the technology works, but it's just not usable. It doesn't have a good experience. So yeah, now in 2022, FIDO Alliance, which is the alliance behind Passkeys, they are a non-governmental alliance, and together with Google, Apple, and Microsoft, they took a pledge to reduce the reliance of words on passwords, and that happened in June last year. Since then, in 6 months, a lot of things happened. Google, Apple, and Microsoft already introduced passkey support in their operating systems and all browsers, and we already can see websites. So the tech already is adopting them. You can have, you can see eBay, PayPal, Kayak. You can already sign up using Passkeys. So it's moving quite fast. It looks very promising. However, not everything is so easy, right? Every new technology has some challenges for the user. So let's start with the user. The cross-platform experience is not the best. What happens is you have Google, Apple, and Microsoft. Yes, there is a standard. It is being unified. There is the same experience in every ecosystem. But what happens when you use two devices of different ecosystems? Then the experience is not ideal. It's not actually just one step. There are some QR codes involved that you need to scan to actually get access. So that might actually slow down a bit the adoption. Also, there is the danger that you can get locked into one ecosystem. So as I was mentioning earlier, right now, if you register on an app or a website from your iPhone, yes, super straightforward, but that passkey is saved in your Apple keychain. At the moment, there is no known method or possibility to migrate your passkeys from the Apple keychain to, let's say, to Google Drive. So as long as you use the same ecosystem, perfect. But if you want to migrate at some point, that might be an issue. And of course, the passwords are not going to die today or tomorrow, right? It will take us few years to actually probably that passkeys will become the dominant way of authentication. So meanwhile, us as users, we're still going to have a mix of passwords and passkeys stored across different tools, password managers, keychains. So it can become confusing. You never know where exactly you need to look for your authentication methods. For businesses, well, we saw PayPal, eBay, Kayak, yeah, they are early jumping on the train because they have massive resources. But smaller companies, small, medium companies, businesses, they actually may not know how to do it, or actually don't have the financial means to adopt passkeys. It's not so straightforward. You still need, as a business, to invest some money. You need a development team to invest some time to get used to the standards, to implement, and then to do the migration and change all these authentication methods. And also hackers, also worth mentioning them, now it becomes much more expensive to perform attacks. So what's going to happen? I think the hackers are going to have a much more targeted type of attacks where they make sure the return of investment is worth the money. In a way, it's good for the general population that we're going to see less and less attacks. But the ones, if you're a targeted one, it's going to be much more sophisticated, and they will put much more money and much more thoughts into how to actually bypass this system. However, help is coming, and that's why I think the future is promising. So we have password managers to help with the users' problems. The password managers are perfectly positioned to solve all these issues. There's no problem cross-platform experience, because if you have a password managers and you have it installed across all devices, then it just work out of the box. You don't need to be afraid to get locked into one ecosystem, because you can just go to any ecosystem as long as you bring your password managers with you, and then all your passwords and passkeys are in the same tool. Businesses, there's a bunch of new projects, products, companies, startups right now looking into building passwordless SaaS, software as a service solution, exactly targeting these smaller companies that they don't have the knowledge or the money. So that's also very promising. And the hackers, I actually expect with the generative AI to see new ways, much more powerful type of attacks in the future. Right, so this was my quick journey into the passwordless future. I hope you just I gave you a taste of what's coming, and thank you. And let's go to Q&A.
So thank you for our presentation, and we have some questions for you also. So how exactly does NordPass collect the password statistics? Surely you don't look into your user passwords, but so how reliable is your data? Maybe those bad passwords come from just one bad source?
Correct. Good question. Yes, we cannot even technically look into our, because we have a zero knowledge platform. So what we do, we work with external companies, specialized companies for this type of studies. It was done across 30 markets, 30 countries on a 3 terabytes database. So it can also be from publicly available data breaches. So together we just, 3 terabytes. So that's how we did it.
Thank you. One more. How about security when someone breaches your device, which manages private key?
Right. So passkeys, of course, are not bulletproof. And if someone gets access to your device, then that's something we cannot. I mean, that's the way we protect against it. It's with the biometrics, right? That's the role of the biometrics, because if someone can actually get physically access to your device, they still need your biometrics to get access to NordPass or any type of passkey password manager. Of course, there are also very, very, very sophisticated ways to bypass biometrics on a device, but then it's a very expensive type of an attacks, and that's what I was talking about. It's not really worth for the attackers to go that way, unless they know they were going to get a lot of return from their money.
Thank you. And one more. Can you define some of the challenges or maybe concerns that have been raised about passkey technology, such as issues with related with user privacy or the potential for passkeys to be hacked or stolen? Maybe some example.
The user privacy at the moment, I personally do not see any issues with it, because it's no different than actually. So it's let's take example Apple. It's about saving in your keychain, which is a secure storage that only you can access. Is the same as your Google Drive, is the same as your other passwords, is the same as anything you saved. So it falls into the same category. It's just another item, another file that you save in your secure storage that only you can access. So that's why I do not see any problem with user privacy. And when it comes to biometric, also, there's no issues, because we already use biometrics every single day to unlock our phones. And that's the biometric you're going to use for passkeys. So it's the biometrics that you already have stored on your device, which we know it's only stored your device, and it's not being uploaded to any cloud by Apple or Google. So we already use existing technologies, which are safe and private for the user. So actually, we do not bring anything new. And that's why it's actually great from my point of view. There was another part of the question, or
how it basically you answered about, but not only about the privacy part, but also about the hacking and stealing the data.
Yeah,
from this perspective.
Correct. So as I said, the dangers or the possibility of your passkey being hacked is or stolen is right now, as we know, is just to get access to your device and then to bypass the biometric.
Okay, thank you for your answers and for the interesting presentation about the future. So we will wait it or live it quite soon. So thank you for that. And we are preparing for the next presenter. So thank you very much
Thank
again.
you for having me.